Screen share.
Yeah, I'll get the screen share over to you, and we got a green light. That means we're live. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's Taco Tuesday. I'm sharing the wrong screen with Cameron. Let me fix that real quick, or he just won't have any idea who's in the audience if anybody bothers to tune in. Good morning. All right. Well, it's Taco Tuesday. Apparently, I broke the taco icon, so I'll just have to make myself a note. Uh,
Quit breaking
Taco
tacos.
icon fix today. Oh, okay. So, well, anyway, we're going to talk about Gallagher. Um, I'm sure some of you guys have been following in the news. I've got some buddies who went in the army after I did, or rather got out after I. Well, all of the above. I know some young Bernie Bro soldiers who basically think that Donald Trump's a terrible person, and therefore he's excusing Eddie Gallagher for war crimes because Eddie Gallagher is also a terrible person. So let's look at that a little bit. Um, I'll get the obvious out of the way first. I don't know Eddie Gallagher. I never met the man, and I never even heard of him until the controversy arose around the alleged war crimes. That said, I do know this much about him. He's a chief petty officer in the Navy, having served from 1999 to present. So, 99 to present. That's a 20-year career. That's 20 years of active duty service. And he's a chief. That's an E7. That's a sergeant first class. Um, or a gunnery sergeant in the Navy. Um, so here's the thing about military rank. The first couple of ranks are gimmies. You go in the army, if you're if you're a poor enough negotiator with your previously acquired skills when you first enlist in the military, you go in with a little fuzzy patch on your chest because you're a private. Or, in Gallagher's case, a seaman. Now, I went in as a specialist because I had a little college, had some work experience, spoke some foreign languages. But typically, just right off the rip, people go in as a private. After 6 months, you're a PV2, a private second class, right? After a year and a half, a year after you make PV2, you make PFC, and then at 2 years in service, you make specialist, and those just happen, right? You don't get promoted to those first couple of ranks only under the circumstance that someone actively blocks you being promoted. In fact, it's not even referred to as a promotion, it's referred to as an advancement. Your first promotion is to sergeant. That's E5. At that point, you're a non commissioned officer. In order to be promoted to a sergeant, you must meet certain requirements. Now, this is the Army side. The Navy side is similar, but a little different, but my experience was with the Army, so I'm just kind of laying it out that way for you. Um, so, in order to be promoted to a sergeant, and every iteration after that, you have to earn a certain number of promotion points, which are acquired through a, a myriad number of achievements, your physical training scores, attending certain schools, and certain awards, things like that. There's a whole list of things that you can do to earn promotion points, and they add up. And once you have a certain number of promotion points, if you have met other specific requirements, then you get promoted when the list comes out. One of those requirements is that you have to go and sit the board, which means that you're presented to your command superiors and interrogated as to your competence in the position. So as a specialist, you're expected to be able to perform at the level of a sergeant or a staff sergeant. So as an E4, you're expected to be able to be an E5 or an E6 before you can be promoted to that point. You don't become a sergeant and then learn how to be a sergeant. And when I first went in, it was that you once you got promoted to sergeant, then you were required to attend PLDC, the platoon leaders course. And now it is that you're supposed to attend what's called WLC, the Warrior Leader course, before you can be promoted to sergeant. I kind of fell in a gap there because I was deployed while the change was made, and so when I came back, I was a sergeant, and then I had to go to the school, and they said, if you don't go now, we're going to demote you. I was like, whatever, dude. I haven't seen my family in a year. Fuck, what's another month? But anyway, if you stay in rank for too long, you will be separated. So if you've been a sergeant, you've been an E5 and you're coming up on 15 years, and there's not some good reason that you're still an E5, like you were demoted as a disciplinary measure at some point and then worked your way back up. If you're just sitting there, they will send you home. So that makes me wonder a little bit about Gallagher here. Apparently the guy was a bit of a badass sniper and all that good stuff. So the thing that I can say about snipers that I've known, my first personal interaction with an actual U.S. military professional sniper was at a sniper training range in Afghanistan, where I took 7 shots and was told to go away. He said, "I've got nothing to teach you. Stop wasting my time. Let's get one of these privates in here." Roger that. And I tell that little piece of story not to puff myself up, but it was one of those moments where like I didn't think I was as good as somebody who was in a position to know how good somebody is was telling me I was. So it was it blew my head up a little bit. So what went wrong with Gallagher? What went down with Gallagher? He was charged with all of that. There's the list. Okay? So, attempted murder, premeditated murder, aggravated assault with a dangerous weapon ×2 on non-combatants, firearm discharged willfully under circumstances to endanger human life at non-combatants, obstructing justice, 3 counts, wrongfully pose for an unofficial picture with a human casualty, wrongfully complete re-enlistment ceremony next to a human casualty, wrongfully operate a drone over a human casualty, wrongfully use a controlled substance, tramadol hydrochloride, unlawful possession of a controlled substance. Multiple offenses. Basically, he was accused of killing the enemy. So let me just sort that out for you a little bit. The thing that he was accused of as a warrior in a war that he was accused of, and it was referred to as a crime, was the killing of an enemy. So there's some testimony that he was reckless. Other snipers in his platoon considered him to be not a good sniper. All this down here. Took random shots into buildings. Other snipers said they witnessed Gallagher taking at least two militarily pointless shots, shooting and killing an unarmed old man in white robes. Okay, just so we're clear on this, these things occasionally explode. If you weren't there, then you might not need to have an opinion on that. Also, these things, young girls over there, occasionally explode. There is no person in an Islam-controlled country that is not a potential bomb. A person that is certainly not a potential bomb is not a thing that exists in that country. Unless you know that person personally and they're an American citizen, they are a potential bomb.
That sounds racist. How dare you?
No. Sometimes white people join ISIS. Remember? Obama assassinated a few of them with drones and without warrants.
Yes, I do remember.
So, as I understand it, he was acquitted on everything except the picture, basically. Why he was acquitted on the picture? That's it, or on everything but the picture. The medic said he did it. Now, the medic testified that he in fact killed the prisoner. The news stories, the headlines around Gallagher seem to suggest that he basically ran in and shot the guy twice. And then some of the stories said that he ran in and just stabbed him over and over and over again, screaming obscenities. The medic's testimony is, no, I suffocated him. And this is from Fox News. He says right here, the prosecutor asks, why did you kill him? Because I knew he was going to die anyway, and I don't care for this phrasing, but I understand. I wanted to save him from what was going to happen next to him. So, I think I would have phrased that a little different. I wanted to save him the suffering, something like that, maybe. But the medic testified that he, in fact, killed him, and that it was a mercy killing. So, as far as I'm concerned, assuming that is the case, anytime a warrior in a war kills another warrior in a war, if you are not there, you do not have any grounds on which to judge this. We've talked about this on the show before, and this is actually, and I've made the claim that this is actually one of the reasons that Donald Trump won the election in 2016, because he understands a very important fact. A very important fact that the Democrat uses to suborn any manner of crime in the pursuit of electoral and political victory. And yeah, I'm tracking on the time, Cam. I'll try to get you out of here. War is prior to ethic. War fighting has been a thing that humans do for longer than we have had the concept of ethics. War is not ethical. It is external to ethics. The concept of ethic, and even the concept of morality, have no place on the battlefield. Attempts by scholars, by lawyers, by politicians, by cowards who do not fight wars, attempts by these people to inject artificial ethics into war, do a terrible, terrible disservice to humanity. When you try to make war a game played in kid gloves, you soften the horror of it. You make it a less terrible concept. When you make war seem humane, it becomes far too easy for the war hawk elite to continue to sell the business of war rather than doing the work of war.
Wow. So, long story short, because this is something just like you, I had no idea who this guy was until, just a couple of days ago.
I've
Um,
been tracking it a little longer than that, but yeah.
but so the guy's a Navy SEAL. I think it's fair to assume he's a bit of a hot dog. Um,
Yeah.
which doesn't surprise me from a Navy SEAL but you've got to want to get it and quit it if you want to be a SEAL. Like there's no question about that. Um,
Yeah, I said I didn't know this guy. I have known a lot of Navy SEALs. Stepped in the ring with several of them. They're solid.
yeah, they're no joke. That's for sure. Like, and Navy SEAL snipers. It's funny his sniper buddies didn't think he was the best sniper in the unit. Like that's like being the worst man on an NFL team.
Yeah.
You're
Okay.
still
So
in the
he was the
NFL.
Colin Kaepernick of snipers.
No,
I mean,
he
he'd
had a
still throw
job.
the shit out of a murder ball.
Right, right. Um, there's the whole business with the Navy secretary who basically openly defied Trump, who's, the commander in chief of the military, and then got fired for it. Like, that's actually the thing that made this pop up on my radar because what? Why? Why do you defy a commanding officer's order?
And
That sounds.
I'm deeply amused that his name is Richard Spencer.
Yeah, yeah. I caught that. That cracked me up a bit. But I mean, good grief. Is this like Trump derangement syndrome? I mean, orange man bad, so I'm going to openly defy him because apparently his whole excuse was military orders are not issued on Twitter. And it's like, buddy, I don't know if you've noticed, but it all happens on Twitter now, at least under this president. Um, but he even issued some response that went along the lines of, we will await further instructions, and he got his further instructions, and they included his walking papers. But yeah, I mean, is this really just Trump derangement syndrome? Orange man bad. Um, this is one of the powers that the president has, and it's a power that every president has executed to commute sentences or outright pardon people, to make changes in the military, to cut through red tape, as it were. Um, I mean, is this really just, oh, we worked so hard to put this seal away, and our JAG officers started with like a whole list of stuff. They only convicted him on one thing, and now Trump's going to take the one thing away from him, and orange man bad. So we're just going to openly defy him. I mean, like there's so much about this that's so bizarre to me.
Well, and quite simply, I have to deeply question the motives and the integrity of Richard Spencer for defying the order. Because here's the thing. I don't care if Edward Gallagher, I don't care what he did. All right? Imagine the most horrible, let's say he was convicted of genocide. Okay? Here's
Like
the
he
thing.
burned a school.
Right. He went and threw Molotov cocktails into a school. The thing that Richard Spencer is arguing here is that somehow Donald Trump commuting the sentence and pardoning Spencer or pardoning Gallagher is deleterious to the good order and conduct of the military rank structure, the order of the order of battle, and all that good stuff. But Spencer, he's the commander in chief with the absolute immutable authority under the Constitution to issue pardons and commute sentences. If the commander in chief with the absolute authority to do a thing chooses to do a thing, those are your orders, Mr. Spencer.
It's Lieutenant Colonel.
Not anymore, it's not. And it wasn't Lieutenant Colonel.
I know. I just that guy's honestly, man. Even Spencer there. Spencer actually looks like he's a bit more of a man's man, like the Pillsbury Doughboy from yesterday. Like he's still so punchable. But yeah, so his reasoning was, well, we have a chain of command and structures and systems in place, and Trump doing this disrupts those structures and systems and the chain of command. So I am going to break the chain of command and disrupt those same systems and structures in order to make sure that the chain of command and those systems and structures are preserved. I'm going to do heroin so nobody else will do it. Like the logic here is, it's all so weird to me. Everything about this case. But I appreciate the education.
Yes, sir. That's all I've got on this one. We didn't even get into the war trophies. Well, let me say this about war trophies. The prohibition on war trophies, I find it obnoxious in the same way college football fans find it obnoxious that college players are not allowed to take brand deals. Okay? The prohibition on taking war trophies is another part of that that effort to artificially inject ethics into the horror of war. And let me say this again so that it's not unclear. If you support the artificial injection of ethics into war fighting, you are softening the horror of war and making it a thing that is less to be avoided than it should be. The addition of ethics to war makes war chronic instead of acute. That bizarre, artificial, softening, kinder, gentler, kid gloves bullshit is why we are still in Afghanistan and haven't just finished the fight.
Yeah, we've talked about it before, but you really want to do something humane in war? Hurry up and win.
Get it done.
Yeah, absolute. That is the best way to minimize casualties on both sides, to minimize collateral damage. The sooner you win, the sooner the blowing stuff up stops. It's just that simple.
All right, kids, that's all I got for you today.
Yep, wake the hell up, go to work.
Be safe out there.
All right, man. Another day of lots of overtime.
Yeah, good luck with that. I've got a funeral to go to.